How you doing? It's Sandesh here, and I'm here to do a video about an article on spikedonline.com. And judging by the title of it, I know I'm gonna end up hating it. Um, it's called "The Rage Against Israel at Eurovision is Disgraceful." Hate the title already. It's just completely stupid. I think I know where this is going. Anyway, here we go. Call me complacent, but I hope the days of mobs in European cities agitating against the presence of Jewish people were over. Not so, it seems. In Malmö, Sweden, thousands took to the streets yesterday waving Palestine flags and chanting from the river to the sea. The reason? A Jewish Israel woman, Eden Golan, was performing in the Eurovision Song Contest semi-final in the city that night. The protests, including a Keffiyeh-clad Greta Thunberg, naturally can dress this up as righteous resistance to Israel aggression in Gaza all they want. In the end, we're left with the spectacle of them running around furiously because a young woman has been allowed to sing while Israeli. The bigoted campaign against Israel has often reared its ugly head at Eurovision. In 2019, when the campus show on Earth was actually hosted by Tel Aviv, the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement called for competing nations to pull out, backed by prominent artists and musicians from Britain to Ireland to Sweden. Allowing Israel to host Eurovision was allowing Netanyahu to whitewash his regime, they said, which is true. I can see where this article's going, saying that hating against Israel. First of all, the Israel people in Israel, have already, what I've seen. I saw a Jimmy Dore video, and they don't even want this war to happen. The reason who's causing this is Benjamin Netanyahu. He's causing all this, and what the BDS says in this article about Netanyahu wanted to whitewash his regime. That is what's going on, and whoever wrote this article, I mean, you're just falling for it. You've been brainwashed. Even though Eurovision is put on by broadcasters, not governments, and the Israeli government actually got into a protected, I think that's what it says, spat with its own public broadcaster that year for refusing to fund the contest. Well, now it seems that Israel's mere participation cannot be tolerated either. Performers and broadcasters have been urged to boycott this year's competition in Malmö, included by a group of 1,000 Swedish artists. Just because it's put on by broadcasters and not governments, the governments are gonna have a hand in it on what the hell's going on. Not just the governments, but the people who really control the world. The mood is ugly, conformist, and borderline hysterical. Golan was booed at the dress rehearsal on Wednesday as others chanted "Free Palestine." Yeah, Free Palestine, exactly. What these protests are about, they're for the Palestinian people, they're not for Hamas. Finnish performer Karaji, I can't pronounce that, sorry, was caught on video sharing a little backstage dance with her within hours after apparently furious online backlash to this brief fun encounter. He put out a statement saying the video was posted without my permission and that it was not a political statement or an endorsement of any kind. Golan is being treated like a moral leper for no other reason than she is representing a nation. Now, she's going to be... I got a feeling that this artist was most likely probably forced by Benjamin Netanyahu. He most likely had a hand in it, and if you look up about it, think about it, he's obviously gonna have a hand in it aggressively, because he shut down Al Jazeera in Israel because they've been telling the truth ever since, for a very long time, and the Israeli government couldn't have that anymore. And for all the pro-Palestine sides talk of avoiding collective punishment in Gaza, this is the definition of collective punishment. Golan is being held responsible for the actions of the Israeli government. Yeah, but the thing is, it's like because of association. And who's to say that this artist is not on board with what the Israeli government is doing? They probably are. In a way, we would think was weird and quite possibly racist if we were talking about another nation. Are Turks forever hounded for the many crimes of Erdogan? Are we going to start boycotting Chinese cultural institutions, dismissing them as orphans for the Uyghur bashing CCP, and yet BDS and its useful idiots insist that all Israeli businesses, universities, and cultural institutions must be boycotted, as if to be Israeli is to be complicit. Israeli is obviously complicit in this. Of course they are. And by the way, this person is saying that we're going to start boycotting Chinese cultural institutions, dismissing them all as fronts for the Uyghur bashing CCP. Well, the thing is, the CCP has a major influence on how the Chinese culture is now. I mean, and to say that BDS and its useful idiots, I mean, this person is obviously brainwashed. He's obviously brainwashed, or he's just willing to go, or they're just willing to go along with it, or it's both. This is a campaign against the Israeli government or its policies. It is a campaign against Israel itself, the world's only Jewish state, and its people. Irritatingly, the boycotters were handed a precedent when Russia was drummed out of Eurovision in 2022 following its bloody imperialistic war on Ukraine. Well, first of all, the Ukrainians and the US were the ones that started it off first. Russia did not start it first, which shows us why banning Russia was a terrible idea to begin with. Yeah, that's true. Opening a geopolitical can of worms and playing into Putin's narrative about rampant Western Russophobia. Well, it is. That's because I mean, America and the UK are doing that Russophobia, and the thing is, they're doing all this Russophobia and it's just not working at all. If anything, it's going in it's becoming Russia's gain. All that being said, we also need to call bullshit on the comparison. Russia invaded Ukraine because it wanted to steal territory and dictate Ukraine's political future. Not true at all. Israel invaded Gaza because Hamas, the genocidal cult that runs that troubled strip of land, murdered, butchered and raped hundreds of Israeli citizens on October 7th last year. Well, first of all, Benjamin Netanyahu paid Hamas, right? He was yet again, the Israeli government was already behind this anyway by paying Hamas. And by the way, as far as the Israeli government, they've been hurting the Palestinian people way before October the 7th, probably for 40-50 years. The majority of whom were innocent civilians. If anyone is whitewashing anything in this war, it is the pro-Palestine set whose eyes roll whenever you bring up the barbarians who started it. Yeah, the ones who started it was Israel, and you can say America as well. You can see this grim tick in the role of Israel's song Hurricane. It was originally called October Rain, and I'll include the UK in that as well, as far as starting it all off as well. Made thinly veiled references to the victims of Hamas pogrom and Eurovision's organisers. The European Broadcast Union demanded it to be revised so that it wasn't to be seen too political. At first, Khan, the Israel public broadcaster, refused to change the lyrics and had to be convinced to play ball by Israeli President Isaac Herzog. The lyrics to Hurricane are now more generic and tell the story of a woman emerging from a personal crisis, but the protesters are still hopping mad. One Irish activist who was involved in the booing on Wednesday told the PA news agency that even with the changes, Hurricane is a propaganda song. It is all about justifying Israel's genocide in Gaza. I think it's quite appropriate to kind of boo that propaganda, he said. I definitely agree, yeah. Roles of Israel's inclusion in Eurovision have cropped up periodically since it first began competing in 1973, but they used to largely be confined to its neighbouring states. Lebanon was due to take part in 2005 for the first time, but withdrew after refusing to broadcast the Israeli entry on Lebanese TV. In 1978, Jordanian TV cut to images of flowers during Israel's performance and then pulled the transmission entirely when it became clear Israel was going to win. Jordanian broadcasters named runner-up Belgium as the winner instead, but not anymore. The Western chattering classes are now reflexively anti-Israel too. It's unbelievably grim that the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust has prompted not sympathy from our cultural elites, but a carnival of victim blaming either chance for the destruction of Israel under the guise of humanitarianism. Well, what they really want, they want to change the government in Israel. That's what they want. They want Benjamin Netanyahu out. And we expect this kind of thing from Islamists and the dregs of the old left. What's been more concerning is the way since October 7th, they keep on talking about since October 7th, why not go way before that? Why not go decades before that? We found out just how much Israeli phobia has permitted our cultural institutions more broadly. It isn't just coming from the veteran activists anymore. Steeped in a one-eyed view of history, it's now almost obligatory to bash Israel at every given opportunity. You see this in the demanding response to Britain's own Eurovision entry. Ollie Alexander, he has signed open letters calling for a ceasefire and denouncing Israel as an apartheid state. But despite mouthing all the anti-Israel talking points, activists still won't leave him alone. A group called Queers for Palestine is demanding he pull out of the competition or entirely. Meanwhile, the Royal Vauxhall Tavern, a South London LGBT venue, has cancelled its popular Eurovision party for tomorrow night, as has the Rio Cinema in East London, sparking investigation from the Charity Commission. I get that these activists think that they're doing this in the name of liberation and progress, but I dare say future historians will look askance at the Queers for Palestine, Progress for Hamas, Chickens for KFC phenomenon. See what I mean? This guy already sounds ridiculous. He doesn't get it. A democratic nation, home to the gay capital of the Middle East, home to Eurovision's first transsexual winner, 1998 champion Dana International, was attacked by racist, homophobic, misogynistic maniacs, and Western progressives sided with the racist, homophobic, misogynistic maniacs. You see how they're going to use words like that if you don't agree with the elites, and if you don't agree with the elites, and if you don't agree with the attack on with the attack with against Palestine. If you're not with Israel, yeah, these are the sort of things that they're going to accuse you of. These people have become so pickled in woke identity. No, I think you're the one who's been pickled in woke identity, especially since you use words like racist, homophobic, misogynistic maniacs. You're the one who's been programmed. You're the one who's been pickled in woke identity. Politics that have come to see the victims of a pogrom as their oppressors are so drunk on anti-Israel bigotry that now they are raging against Israeli women for daring to compete in a singing competition. Thankfully, Eden Golan sailed through the semi-finals last night, seeing down all the protests and the death threats sealing her position in tomorrow's grand final. Here's hoping she does well there too. Show the Israeli phobes of Malmo, London and beyond that they do not speak for Europe. Well, the thing is, Tom Slater, you obviously don't speak for everyone else. And I'm sure if everyone else saw this article and anyone who sees this video, they're gonna see how much of an idiot you really are. I mean, I think it's about 95% of the population in the world wants a ceasefire, and they're not on the side of the Israeli government, and they know that the Israeli government is having such a huge influence as well of what's going on in the world right now. I think the Israeli government is attacking 3 countries at once. I think it is. I know one of them is Iran. I just can't remember what the other 2 are. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe on this video, and please follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Rumble and Odyssey as well, and let me know in the comments of what you think about this what you think about this video. Are you pro-Israel or are you anti-Israel? Do you want a ceasefire yourself? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.